Well, I want to ask you a little bit more about the Rolling Stone article, but first we have Mayor Bloomberg coming up, and one of his big issues is guns. And I'm just wondering, curious, does assault weapons like the Bushmaster have a place in our society here in America? What is your position, especially given the recent events?
Yeah, I spent a career carrying typically either an M16 and then later an M4 carbine. And an M4 carbine fires a .223 caliber round, which is 5.56 millimeter, at about 3,000 feet per second. When it hits a human body, the effects are devastating. It's designed to do that. And that's what our soldiers ought to carry. I personally don't think there's any need for that kind of weaponry on the streets, and particularly around the schools in America. I believe that we've got to take a serious look. I understand everybody's desire to have whatever they want, but we've got to protect our children, we've got to protect our police, we've got to protect our population, and I think we've got to take a very mature look at that.
So we're talking about background checks, we're talking about banning certain types of assault weapons, we're talking about trying to reduce the number of these guns and the ammunition that feeds them in our society. First of all, do you think that's possible? And would you support legislation? Would you, I don't know, go around the country and actually be very vocal about this?
I think serious action is necessary. Sometimes we talk about very limited actions on the edges, and I just don't think that's enough. I think we'll find out.
What's your message to the NRA, to members of the House Judiciary Committee, Republicans, who say this isn't a topic for federal legislation?
I think my message is we've got to look at the situation in America. The number of people in America killed by firearms is extraordinary compared to other nations. And I don't think we're a bloodthirsty culture. And so I think that we need to look at everything we can do to safeguard our people.
I appreciate your honesty on this. Let me just quickly ask you, the Rolling Stone article kind of exploded on our show that morning that it broke, and it led to a fairly quick departure. Do you feel misunderstood about parts of those, the reporting, and is there anything you would change looking back?
First, I would tell you that as a commander, I take responsibility for what happened. And when I came back to offer my resignation to President Obama, that's exactly what I told him. I take responsibility because that's what commanders do and move on. I think that the media controversy that arose around that, I actually believe that it may not be entirely accurate. But the commander-in-chief who I worked for was my commander-in-chief, then he's still my commander-in-chief. I owe him not to put such things on his desk, not to have him faced with controversies. And whether it's my fault or not, it's my responsibility. And I think it's important that I was raised, the responsibility is what you accept, and I don't have any problem doing that.
The memoir is My Share of the Task, and you can read an excerpt on our blog, mojo.msnbc.com. General Stanley McChrystal, thank you. And thank you for your comments on guns. Hope to work with you on that in some way. Straight ahead, New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg joins us on set. Keep it right here on Morning Joe.